Good afternoon, Zinger Nation. My name is Logan Ross, and this is Moon or Bust, your home for all things altcoins and DeFi. Live from Detroit, Michigan, today we will be talking to the creator of Dogecoin, Billy Markus, about the history of Dogecoin, Elon Musk, Jackson Palmer, and the future of the people's currency. And then we will be breaking news for the first time on Moon or Bust. And not only just breaking some financial news, we'll be breaking Doge news. History is going to be made today on Moon or Bust at the end of the episode. So you do not want to miss it. Stay tuned till the end. So get your popcorn, get your Shiba Inu, because it's about to go down. I am joined today by DeFi developer Brian Moir and real-life Layer 2 enthusiast. Hear that, ladies? Ryan McNamara. How are you fellas doing today?
Super excited.
Much excited. Very, very wow.
But I want to know how the Dogecoin community, how the viewers are doing. So if you're excited, make sure you let me know by Doge attacking the like button to let YouTube know that Moon or Bust is where it's at and that the Dogecoin community is strong, like I know you are. While you're down there, take a second and click on that Benzinga crypto separate YouTube channel, the first link in the description, and also join the Telegram for a 25% off on your Moon or Bust swag. And also maybe to stay up to date with the Moon or Bust token, which is coming soon. More details on that coming up. As always, make sure to stay connected with us on Twitter. Our handle's here, and Billy Markus's Twitter is in the description below. But yeah, with that out of the way, let's get right into the news. We have a couple exciting items to talk about before we bring Billy on. First up, Reddit has decided to use the Ethereum Layer 2 scaling solution Arbitrum. So if you didn't know, Reddit has an Ethereum-based community points system that they were looking to scale. So they considered like maybe 40 different Layer 2 and side chain scaling platforms like Polygon, even Solana, but they decided that Arbitrum would be the best. So there are about 4.8 million users between the two subreddits that use these community points systems, r/cryptocurrency and r/Fortnite BR. Brian, what do you think about the future of cryptocurrency on Reddit?
Well, I mean, we already see the future of cryptocurrency on Reddit. I mean, Dogecoin was created on Reddit. We have Garlic Coin is still kind of going on. It's not nearly as, heavy, but it's been around for quite a while. This just makes it much easier for these tokens to scale and people to get in and out. And, there's a lot more development that can happen with these tokens. There's so much, it just broadens the reach that these things can have. You're eliminating the gas fees. You're being able to send and receive with, very minimal fees. And it makes it very bullish, and it's going to be cool because I think this is going to open up a lot more subreddits to have their own tokens and the use cases and stuff like that. We've seen it for years. It's, it just gets better and better.
Yeah, and Reddit's the perfect place to do it too, because people are tipping maybe $1, $2, $5, and you're not going to want to send a transaction that costs $5, $10, maybe $20 on Ethereum. And you really need a scaling solution for something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Just makes it better.
That is perfect. And I think I talked to John G, our lead developer, that Zing token might eventually be used for something similar for stock trading ideas. The idea behind that is if you have some Zing token attached to it, you have to give something up to prevent spam. So that way we can really find the best ideas. But yeah, like using cryptocurrency as like a voting method is something that could be really cool and just another highlight of the powers of DeFi. Okay, next up, what's up, man? How you doing? Okay, so next up, we have a little market update for you today. So what is Bitcoin at right now, Ryan? Do you want to share your screen with us?
I don't have TradingView pulled up. Could you do it actually, Logan?
Come on, man. You knew that you had to do it. You told me that you were going to have this ready.
Dude, that's my bad. I'm sorry.
I really can't because I'm on my laptop. So this is on you right now.
Yeah, let me try and pull it up.
My own CoinMarketCap, and maybe I'll go over some current prices while Ryan is catching up. Currently, Bitcoin is at 32,178. it has bounced significantly from that 29-30K we saw earlier this week. ETH is back above 2K. Thank you, baby. Let's see. We got BNB at 282, Cardano at 115. And yeah, things are bouncing back slightly. We're still trading within that range. We are still in the downtrend that we have been stuck in for, the past couple, almost months now, maybe 2 months. Since the end of May, we've been, kind of forming this triangle down. Bottom would be like 28, 29K. And the top is just consistently going down. So maybe we will be breaking out soon, but maybe we could also be breaking down. I see a lot of people talking about us hitting like the 22 to 25 level before we go back up. So I'm going to toss it out to you guys in the chat. What do you think? Are we going to hit 25 or 40 first? So drop either 25 or 40 in the chat, and we'll see what you guys are feeling. Ryan, where'd your screen go, man?
It should be right here. You see it? Can you pull it up?
Yeah, it's on there now.
Spencer's screen is up. Yeah. Okay, cool.
All right. So we're looking at these daily candles here. We were looking at a downtrend. I mean, we went all the way down to 29,000. It's really that 30K mark that's been holding. We saw a daily close below 30K, which was quite bearish. I mean, this was just a few days ago, and you saw people calling for 20K. But, we've seen these prices before. We've had wicks down to 28K. So I wasn't particularly bearish. I actually picked up some ETH when Bitcoin dropped below 30K. And since then, we've seen a pretty good spike up, but we'll see if that continues. Let me put some lines on this chart. Draw some lines in the sandbox, as they say.
Do some speculation.
I mean, it looks like there is some good support around 30K, but we are trending in a down range. I mean, this looks like we're going down. Could be a triangle. We love triangles here. I'd like to see this break out maybe above 35K and hold, and then maybe there's a reversal happening. I mean, but at the same time, maybe we're just trading in a straight line. That's what I personally think. I think we're going to see Bitcoin from 30K to 40K, just kind of in this range, and hopefully we'll pick back up, maybe a month or two down the line. Before I'm bearish, I want to see a break below 30K and for that to hold, which we have not seen yet. So that's my take on Bitcoin. Do you guys have any other hot takes on Bitcoin before we might go over to Doge?
No, I agree. It's really rare that you see it like go below 29 and then not bounce right back. Sorry, that's usually like where it is, and we've called this for the last couple of months now. Anytime you'll see that break below 30, you're going to see a bounce, because that's when more institutional investors are getting in. That's when more retail investors are getting in, and that's just a really good support level, because it rarely goes below it, and if it does, it's only for a very short period of time. So I really like it at this point, because you're right. I think we will see 35 to 40 before we would ever see 20 in the foreseeable future.
I agree. And I think if we go above 30 and even to 40K, I think that 20K is out of the range of possibilities. I mean, of course, anything's possible, but I think we're going to be in some bullish territory once we're at 40K.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's fair to say for sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 25 first. I think the longer it takes, the better. But also, we'll have to see. We're still playing in the sandbox. I want to point out, Tony says, hey, Doge fam, tweet this out. So I'm going to drop a link to the Benzinga tweet for this event right here. If you don't mind, go blow that up on social media so everyone in the Doge army can find it. If you're just tuning in, we have a huge episode for you today. We'll be talking to the co-creator of Dogecoin, Billy Markus, in just a few seconds here. So get hyped, get excited, and smash that like button. Ryan, do you have anything else for us on the market update?
Oh, yeah. I wanted to just cover Doge real quickly. Obviously, we're in a downtrend right now, but it looks like we're holding pretty similar to Bitcoin. And of course, all these altcoins, they follow Bitcoin, so that's of no surprise. And it's down about the same as most other altcoins, about 60% or so from its all-time highs. And we actually had a wick back in February all the way up to right around that 15-cent range. And we've seen us bounce here. We've seen us bounce again here. And we just recently bounced off that 15-cent mark. So personally, I'm not invested in Doge, but if I was looking to get in a position, it would be around that 15-cent mark. Possibly set a stop loss at 14 or 13 cents. I think that's a good risk versus reward scenario there.
There you go. That is how to play Doge for the second half of the market cycle. I'll probably be accumulating, man. I think that when crypto goes up, Doge is going to go right back up too.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see a dollar Dogecoin next year. What do you guys think? Let us know in the chat. What is Doge's? What could Dogecoin do next year? What's your price prediction for 2022, or maybe even just the end of the year? But yeah, while you guys are doing that, I think we should get started with the interview. What do you guys think?
Let's run it.
Run it.
All right. It is my profound pleasure to bring on stream today Billy Markus, creator of Dogecoin. Billy, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
Hey, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Well, let's just get right into it. So can you tell us the story of your first cryptocurrency, the Bells coin, and how you stumbled upon Jackson's forum post about Dogecoin.com?
Oh, sure. So I guess I got into like cryptocurrency in general just from Bitcoin. And I started trying to mine, and mining was pretty impossible. Even back then, it was pretty impossible. It took like it was like a week to like mine for 0.01, I think is what I had, which is actually like a lot now, but back in that time it was like $1, and it made my like room really hot to use my graphics card to do that.
I feel that.
Yeah. So then I found that there are all these other types of coins that you could mine a lot easier with like a regular fancy computer graphics card, like Litecoin and all the hundreds of like clones of Litecoin. They were called like script coins, and like they were all pretty like, you know, gaudy. They're like, oh, we're gonna take over the world and become the new like standard for finance. And I was like, all right. So you'd kind of like gamble on those and mine different ones and trade them and stuff. And I thought it was really interesting. But considering there were so many, I was like, oh, it's probably not too hard to make. So there's actually a like an FAQ online that was just like how to clone a script coin and make your own coin. So it was basically a weekend project. I was like, all right, I'll try to make a coin. I was really obsessed with Animal Crossing at the time. And I was like, well, I want to make something fun. I don't want to make something serious. So I'll make Bells currency. And no one had any idea what Bells was. No one had any idea what Animal Crossing was on the Bitcoin talk forum. And it was just like laughed away. So then I was like, okay, well, that was silly. I'll retire from making cryptocurrencies. That was a bad idea. But then I think, so Bitcoin had just crashed again. I think this was like some China FUD thing. So I went to like an IRC chat room, one of the many, like the 2013 version of China FUD. And I went to a IRC chat room, and someone just linked Dogecoin.com. They're like, haha, this is funny. I was like, I went to that site, and it was basically like Jackson on the other side of the world in Australia had made Dogecoin.com, and like it wasn't a real coin. It was just like a joke that he made. And at the bottom was like, if you want to make this a real thing, contact me. So I was like, okay, I really want to make this coin. This is like hilarious. And he didn't answer me because he was in Australia. I didn't know that. But I just like made it that night, essentially in a few hours. And then eventually got to talk to him again. And we released it a few days later, and the rest is bizarro history.
That's insane. So as the story goes, you spent the majority of the time adding Comic Sans to the client. But I'm just curious. I want to dive into this. Can you walk us through what made it so difficult to add Comic Sans and what that process was like?
Oh, but well, so the majority of the time means like it took like a couple hours to make it. It was just forked from Bells anyway. So I already made Bells coin, and I changed like there's like 7 or 8 things that you have to change, some of the magic numbers that they call them, and you have to set the parameters for mining and like how much it outputs over time per block for the coin stuff. So that takes like, you know, very little time to do. And then I wasn't going to make Dogecoin if I couldn't figure out how to change the Qt client to show Comic Sans font. So it was really just like finding that area in the code somewhere and trying to compile it and stuff. And once it actually worked, I was like, okay, this is going to be a thing. This is funny. But yeah, that was really like my only thing that would have, like, if I didn't do that, it would have taken like 20 minutes or so. So I don't know. Most of the time was just spent trying to customize the client, essentially.
That's awesome. So in an interview you did recently with Final Stand, you said that if the Dogecoin parameters were perfect, it was an accident. So if you could go back now and maybe spend a little bit more than 30 minutes recreating Dogecoin, what would you do differently?
I don't think I would do anything different. I feel like the only way that this reality could have happened is from everything that we did and everything that the community did up until that point. So if I changed something, I think the only thing I personally would change is I wouldn't have sold in 2015. That was, I wouldn't have sold all my cryptocurrency in 2015. That was a traumatic experience later in life. But like, I think otherwise, like in terms of me making Dogecoin, like, it became what it is today because of all the choices that Jackson and I made and everyone else in the community made. So I'm okay with that, I guess.
There you go. And hey, hindsight is 2020, right? You can't be too hard on yourself. Okay, so I have another question. If you were still the lead developer today, would you add a supply cap? I know you said a bunch of people are asking you to add a cap. I know you can't because you're not the lead developer anymore. But what do you think about Dogecoin having a cap versus not having a cap?
Anyone can add one if they want. The code's open source. The cap code is not very complicated to add. The issue would be to convince all the miners to take a smaller cut when they mine it. And also the fact that if it was just capped, like let's say the coin was capped today, that means it wouldn't give any mining rewards. That means people probably wouldn't waste their CPU cycles mining it, which means it wouldn't be a secure coin. And if it's not secure because someone can take over the network with a large amount of hashing power, that would make the value of the coin nothing. So personally, I don't think most people want the value of the coin to be nothing. The reason why they want a cap is because they think the scarcity will make it go up in value, but it'll actually ruin the stability of the coin and make it not secure anymore and make it worthless. So it's pretty counterproductive. So personally, I think probably shouldn't do that. I mean, like there's different coins. They have different like the tokens that are out now, like on BSC chain or ERC20, they piggyback off the Ethereum or the BSC blockchain. So they can have a cap and not have security issues with that. But a proof of work cryptocurrency with its own blockchain needs to have some type of mining reward. Otherwise, it will cease to function and be worthless. So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Let me follow up on that real quick, Ryan. So I'm not suggesting that you just stop the mining reward immediately, but it did stop like halvening, per se, a couple of years after Dogecoin was released. So I'm curious why you made that decision to have it stop halvening, and if you'd change that now.
So originally Dogecoin was supposed to be capped. I think it was supposed to just give off all its mining rewards in about 8 months. Which would mean it had an expiration date essentially of after 8 months, the whole thing would just die. So the decision was to keep it like with the original parameters because it didn't actually work. The like end of life mining code didn't actually finish in 8 months. It would just keep going at 10,000 per block. So because of that, it just kind of was left the way it was. Yeah, in terms of like continuing to half and half, I kind of like personally, I kind of like the amount that it gives out. The inflation percentage will go down each year till about like it'll be like about 2% ish in like 20 years or 30 years, which is like pretty reasonable. It's like the same as gold inflation, and also. What is nice about having block rewards rather than only relying on transaction fees is that means that Dogecoin can be a secure coin basically forever without having to rely on transaction fees to sustain it and like having mass amounts of transactions, meaning that the transactions can always be relatively inexpensive. And so one of the things that is happening now is the devs have reduced the transaction fee, or are working on reducing the transaction fee. So instead of costing 20 or 18 cents or whatever, one Doge to send any amount of transaction, will be some fraction of that, like 1/100th of that or something like that. And that can happen forever. We can always have the Dogecoin sends be inexpensive because of the issuance that's per block. So it's kind of a trade-off in that sense.
Yeah, that's definitely great to see Doge continue to improve over the years, even after you've left the project. So as the legend goes, Billy, you bought a used Honda Civic with your Dogecoin money. Is that true or a misconception?
No, I didn't buy a Honda Civic. The quote was like, I sold enough, or I made enough selling all my crypto to buy like a equivalent of a used Honda Civic. And so that was just kind of taken as like I bought a used Honda Civic, but I really just used it to pay rent. It's just more like, oh, my savings is really low and I don't have any assets. Oh wait, no, I have cryptocurrency. Like, all right, I'll just sell that and pay rent.
It's just fantasy internet money at the end of the day, right? I mean, who cares?
Yeah. It's definitely not going to be worth millions later on in life. Whatever.
You'll have that.
Yeah. So Billy, I know you were in crypto early. Do you still hold any type of cryptocurrency at all?
I do. I have Ethereum from selling NFTs, and I have Dogecoin that's been tipped to me, and I have various random coins that either I was trading with or have been tipped to me. So I still do hold. I don't buy crypto. I stopped buying crypto after 2013 and that traumatic experience of like selling and buying and freaking out and being glued to my phone. Although I did buy a little bit of Dogecoin when it was plummeted down to like 17 cents really quick, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to bounce back. So I bought a little bit at that time. But otherwise, I don't like buying crypto. When I got into it, I just mined after the traumatic experience of buying and selling. I just mined, so it's like I wasn't spending any of my own money. It's just having building it or attaining it from my computer cycles. So I like that a little better.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Better for my health.
I'm sure you had a shitload of Doge under 1 cent too. So I mean, it's cool to see you buying back in now, even though it's at 17 cents. I mean, I'm sure the community loves to see that, and that's cool that you did that. So although Doge was created as a parody coin, it's now accepted by a lot of different sites, and Coinbase Commerce just picked it up. Can you talk a little bit about why this is a big deal, and like what place do you see for Dogecoin in the future?
Well, so I was really excited that Coinbase accepted it this year. It's been like 8 years. The Dogecoin community back in the day was like begged Coinbase to accept it, and it was one of the few crypto things that actually made it out of the 2013 2014 timeframe. Most of the other exchanges exit scammed or are now defunct. So yeah, like we really wanted it to be on Coinbase, so that was like a nice feather in my cap. In terms of the Dogecoin community, and Dogecoin itself, like the most useful thing about any cryptocurrency, and particularly something like Dogecoin, which is low fee, is that you can send it to people and get stuff from it. That's like kind of the general point of currency. So the fact that back in the day, it would be very few places that actually accepted Dogecoin. That was kind of the generic refrain. It was like, well, what can you get with it? Like, what's the point of this? This is a silly thing. It's like, well, you can tip people with it. Like, okay, like that's cool. But now, like, you can almost buy anything with it. There's so many services now that accept Dogecoin with the service, and you can either get and keep Dogecoin if you accept it, or you can sell it for something or trade it for whatever. So people can use Dogecoin to purchase pretty much anything at this point. And so in that way, it's like, it's legitimate. It has utility. And the other part of the utility comes from the community. If the community is really excited and like supports these brands that accept Dogecoin, then that keeps kind of the hype going, that keeps people interested in what's going on. So I think it's very, very beneficial for businesses to accept Dogecoin and for the currency to be moved around and used as a currency.
Totally. So I want to get your opinion on the general state of the cryptocurrency market. I mean, we've seen a ton of volatility lately. Are you bullish or bearish in the short term, and are you bullish or bearish over the next year?
I don't think I have an opinion anymore. Back when I had when I traded, like back in 2013, I couldn't handle it going up or down. Like either one would make me go crazy. So like Bitcoin would 3x and I'd be like, oh my God, I have more money than I've ever had before. What do I do with this? And I'd freak out. Or then it would go down like, 20%. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I think at some point I just kind of like shrugged, and that's kind of my general opinion. Like, what is it going to be in 100 years? Like, I don't know. Like, what is it going to be in 2 days? Like, I have no idea. It's just like, we can try to make triangles, like I saw you were making,
Yeah.
and, guess what people are doing. But fundamentally, it's just, like back in 2013, 2014, the idea of Dogecoin being a penny was like absurd and ridiculous and crazy, and basically everybody would have been like, that's insane, you're like, what are you smoking? That's like an insane proposition. And now it's like 17 cents and people are mad about that, right? It's like, what is only 17 cents or 18 cents or whatever it is right now? Like, what is that? That's terrible. It should be $1. So I don't know. Like, my market idea of the future is just a shrug emoji.
One thing to say about the dollar, Dogecoin going to $1 is, I think you mentioned this in a Reddit post or tweet. If it goes to $1, you got to think about the vast, like how much money that actually is in Dogecoin, and like it's bigger than some of the largest corporations. Like it's just insane to kind of think about in the sense like how something statistically impossible is happening. But I think it just kind of comes back to the community around it, and kind of the thing, like your whole vision of what the community should be is now kind of coming into fruition. And I think that plays a huge part in how long and the longevity and the viability of Dogecoin has stayed.
Yeah, like I always think basically the coin won't die as long as people care about it. And that's how any of this stuff is going to work. Like if people are still trading it and using it and talking about it and liking it, that keeps it living. Despite, like obviously more people need to be into it for the price to go up. And if less people are, the price won't stay up. But as long as anybody cares about Dogecoin, it will continue on. And that's pretty cool that some random thing I made in 2013 is still going and people are still talking about it.
Yeah. This is more than cool. It's pretty dope.
And of course, we can't have a Dogecoin interview without talking a little bit about Elon Musk. So Elon mentioned that he's working with some Dogecoin devs to improve Dogecoin's blockchain. Do you know who he's working with or anything about this or what he's working on specifically? I know you're not part of the project, so you might not have much information on this.
Yeah, I know he's been in contact with the devs, and he has offered help. And I think some of that help was turned down. I don't remember the exact article that I read about that. But basically he's engaged, but he's not like working on the project. He doesn't have like a team or anything like that, but he believes in Dogecoin. I think he finds it amusing. I think he generally likes the story of, something that started as a gag becoming popular, and the fact that it's like a silly coin or like not as serious, I think is appealing to him. But in terms of like, I think he kind of laid out what he wants to see in Dogecoin pretty clearly. He wants it to be, faster. He wants it to be cheaper to send around, and he wants it to be like more used. And he doesn't seem to have any issue with the like inflation or anything like that. But I think he thinks it can be successful if it can be faster and cheaper to send around and like have the ability to store a lot of transactions. So I think those are his wishes. And again, I don't think there's any like direct help with the developers, but I think he's available in that capacity.
So do you have any comments or critiques on Elon's proposed plan?
I mean, I think I made a tweet off of that tweet or a response to it where it's like, it's pretty easy to make the block size bigger. It's pretty easy to like, relatively easy. It's still a cryptocurrency. You still have to like make these changes carefully and not, mess up everything and mess up everyone's money. But it's relatively easy to make the fees lower. And that's the next thing that's happening. I think that's a big deal. It's pretty hard to scale the like send and, make it, as like like Bitcoin has been dealing with this for a really long time. Vitalik made some comment on like how to scale and how complicated it is in a response post, and like he said a lot of really intriguing things and a lot of stuff that like I've never implemented. So I think it's in my head is like super complicated to make something like this speed up and not have like centralization. There's like kind of inherent trade-offs having something decentralized and able to move very quickly. Usually that comes in the form of like nodes that are like known, so that basically centralizes the project, and that makes kind of lowers the decentralization value of the currency. And
Right,
so,
like the bigger the block size, the bigger the node, and the less computers and the less decentralized it can be, because less computers that can hold the whole node, right?
yeah, more or less it's like if you're having to send a whole bunch of information around to a whole bunch of different computers, and you want that to happen like super quick, like the easiest way to do that would just to like have some known nodes that you can send to really fast. But that takes away decentralized, because you basically just hard coded a bunch of nodes that we know about, and now those are like extra important. So like I don't know all the technical details in terms of what it really would take, but just as a gut, it's like, okay, well, that hasn't been done in any of these cryptocurrencies. They're not MasterCard, they're not Visa, but there's a lot of work being done, a lot of research being done to get there, and hopefully that can increase in the future. But yeah, it's a big Dogecoin's like a clone coin. It always has been, like of Litecoin, of Lucky Coin, of these like really old school script clones that are all just clones of Bitcoin. So following what Bitcoin is doing is pretty straightforward, but going off and making things really different, that's going to take like a much larger team.
Most definitely. So if you're just tuning in, we have Billy Markus, the co-creator of Dogecoin, here with us today talking about the project. So smash the like button and drop a comment or question for Billy, and we'll see if we can get to it. Okay, so last week, Jackson Palmer made a Twitter thread sharing some harsh criticisms of the cryptocurrency community. Jackson's sentiment was basically that crypto helps the rich get richer, and blockchain limits the use of interventions, which serve as a safety net for the average person. Well, there may be some merit to this idea. I see Bitcoin and Dogecoin empowering the 40% of the world that doesn't have access to a bank account, and also providing a lifeline to those that are in countries with corrupt governments, hyperinflating their fiat currency, and have no way to protect their value other than through cryptocurrencies. So what's your take on this, Billy?
I read Jackson's critique, and I totally understand where he's coming from. Both of us basically made this thing for sillies, and then it blew up, and we saw a lot of bad. We saw so much bad from just like what greed does to people, what like how much scams are in this scene, and like how many people aren't safe, and just kind of like YOLOing and doing crazy things. And like it is kind of like you want to protect people, but at the same time, like you want to like make sure everyone is an adult about their decisions and knows what they're getting themselves into. So like I understand where he's coming from in that space, and I think most of his critiques are like they have validity, in terms of like it's not like it completely like fixed every single problem that's ever happened with anything related to money. Like there's still problems, and there still will always be problems, because that's the system that we're in. But kind of along the lines of what you said, like that's one view, and like while I appreciate that view and understand that view, I do think there's like merit to what cryptocurrency is doing. I do think there are use cases that are coming up that are pretty interesting. I think it helps people. Like NFTs, for example, I think does help artists like have another more direct revenue that is really useful, and that's a use case that came up because of cryptocurrency. So in the remittance thing that you're talking about with the other countries and sending stuff over and etc. So I understand the problems that he's talking about. I agree with a lot of them, but I'm not like as like, oh, this is the worst thing in the world. It's like there's good, there's bad. It's like anything. It's more about what people do with it. It's more really just about people than about even the thing itself. So I guess that's my general take on it. Was kind of more along the lines of shrug emoji.
So are you two still in communication? Have you talked to him about the thread?
Yeah, we talk a little bit. I contacted him after kind of like after all this stuff started, and he'll message me if I say something that's like factually inaccurate. I'll be like, oh no, I think I said something about Dogecoin like not being bad for the environment because it's merge mined, and I was more informed that because of the price rise, that people actually make more money merge mining with Dogecoin right now than with Litecoin. And so it's actually like supporting the Litecoin network. So you can't just like before, like back in the day, basically it was just kind of mooching off the Litecoin network and kind of got its security for free. But now it's like supporting the Litecoin network. And, you know, it's like the biggest script coin right now. So I can't really say that it's like it has less damage to the environment than Bitcoin, but I can't say it's like super like not damaging to the environment. It still has issues that proof of work cryptocurrency would have. But yeah, anyway, I do still talk to Jackson a little bit.
Awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah, that is pretty interesting too, because a lot of people, like Elon said that he wants to go with Doge because it is more environmentally friendly, but any proof of work protocol isn't necessarily the most environmentally friendly. So it's kind of interesting on how that, and we could probably talk about that for hours, but I wanted to talk to you about the your NFT project. And if you can give us some like details on why you got into it, why you started it, or you know, what
sure. Like, I think general NFTs is kind of like with the tokens and just kind of me re-exploring the space, because I've been out of the space for I've been like vaguely following it and what was going on for years, but I hadn't like really like looked deep into the space. So NFTs were one of those things where I think my first reaction to it is like pretty much everyone's first reaction to it, like, this is dumb. Like, why are people buying these? Like, this is crazy. And then like I started to understand what the purpose of it and why you would want like a picture and to be like the owner of the picture. It kind of reminded me of like Team Fortress hats or like other things like that. These like kind of pseudo economies that prop up from like artificial scarcity, which I thought was kind of generally interesting. And for me, it was just an experiment. It was like, okay, like if I do this thing, are people going to buy it? And then they did. I'm like, oh, cool. Okay. Well, I'll keep making them if people keep buying them, and if they stop, then I'll stop. Because like if there's demand, there's apparently demand for stuff that I make, so that's cool. And yeah, if there's no more demand, that I won't make them because that's a silly thing to do. So
yeah, that is really cool. One thing I saw that you posted is you were able to help. Like one of your goals was to be able to help pay for your mom's house and help her out just in general. And I saw that you posted that you were actually able to do that, but not with Doge, but with ETH through your NFT, you know, sales or the whole project in general. I thought that was really awesome. I thought that was kind of cool and kind of gives more dynamic to, you know, how you view the space and where you fit in.
Yeah, like that, the whole, like, that was the thing that made me most, I wouldn't say like upset, but it was like the most regretful about selling my Doge, was that my mom was really struggling, and like I was helping her, but like I like the amount that she needed like wasn't, it was like out of my comfort zone to like help. And so like through kind of coming back and selling NFTs, which was like, again, not an expected thing for me to do, is just like, oh, is this gonna work? Like, oh, I guess it does, cool. And then the crypto market going up some months ago, I managed to like make enough that like after taxes, I still feel comfortable helping her out the amount that I can, and more, so that she doesn't have to worry about her house finance anymore, which is really, really big for me personally and for her. So I was really, really grateful for that, and grateful that I made the choice to come back, even though I wasn't coming back into the public light, I guess, not coming back to the project, but talking about stuff. Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome because there's so many opportunities in this space because there's endless possibilities, and even with just speaking on NFTs, it can also not just be art, but like a whole way to track inventory, do ticketing, systems, do all this and that, and I think that's really cool that you were able to actually still solve your issue. But not with the original thing you did, but also, it doesn't matter because you're still involved in this whole space and you're a huge influence on cryptocurrency as a whole, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know how, like, I don't think I can sell my Doge. Like, it would feel weird. Like, it would be like, well, if I sell it now, but what if type feeling. I think I would have. So, like, I'm glad I didn't have to touch my Doge. It's just going to stay in this wallet.
That's awesome.
Unless it's like very life changing in some point in the future, which I don't know.
Yeah. Well, can you talk to us about a little bit about why you stepped away from the Doge community, and then why you're back, like through Twitter and Reddit? Like you were pretty, you just wanted to get out of it, but then now you're back, and I feel like your views it seems like your views are changed, or it's more, it's just different. Can you speak on that at all?
Yeah. I never considered obviously the price has gone up like an extreme amount since I left, but I never considered myself that I had much Dogecoin. So it was like about six months into the project, I had released the first 5 releases of Dogecoin, and the community kind of got taken over by like an actual sociopath scammer guy who kind of like put this huge wedge in the community and ended up scamming a whole bunch of people, and it was being really sad. And just like there was just a lot of like attacking. I would get death threats, I would get like lawsuit threats like constantly from just people who are like, I lost money on the gamble that I made. It's like, okay, like what am I gonna do about it? Like I'm not gonna fix the whole world buying it for you. Like, and so it just felt like there was so much like attacking and negativity and hate toward me who didn't deserve it at all, and like it just felt really unhealthy. And it's like, well, I don't have much Dogecoin, I don't have much incentive to do this, and I'm not like, I have a real life. This is not my life, but it's taking over my life. Like I would like to hand this project off to people who are more crypto competent, who can keep this project going. And we're very fortunate that we found the basically the core team has stayed pretty much the same for like 7 years. So we handed that off. That's basically why I was just like, this is not healthy. And actually, the reason why I came back wasn't to come back and talk to people. It was to tell people to leave me alone, because I was getting like massive, like after Elon Musk tweeted about it and it went to like 8 cents or something, I just got like tons of tweets are like, hey, cap the coin, Billy, do it now. I'm like no, like I'm not on the project. I don't have any Dogecoin. Leave me alone. So that was like my spiel is like don't bother me. I'm trying to have a real normal life here, and I don't have any involvement in the Dogecoin project. And I decided to make like a Reddit thread basically about my thoughts on Dogecoin. That was like the true value. How like it's not necessarily about the like, I completely understand the like day-to-day trading value of Dogecoin, but like what is worthwhile to me is not that specifically, although it's related, but it's more like the community being cool, and a bunch of people who want to actually do things and like accomplish things. And if that's the case, it seemed like a lot of people weren't super like knowledgeable about cryptocurrency. They were pretty new to the space, but that energy was there, and there's a lot of good energy there. So after I made that post, I had a lot of positive feedback from it. And I guess from that, I was like, well, if people want to listen to me, I'll keep talking. If people don't want to listen to me, I'll stop and I'll go have my normal life. But at this point, it's it's like 80-20 if people want to listen to me and people who want me to shut up. So I'll keep talking until people don't want me to anymore, I guess.
No, yeah, I totally understand that. One of the big mottos for Doge is, I think, is do good every day. I think I'm getting that right.
Yeah.
And
only good every day, Brian.
Do only good every day. I apologize. But
Yeah, we had to backronym Doge, right? Do only good every day. So
okay.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
an idiot. I get it now.
yeah.
Dang, I just look stupid in front of everybody. But
It's all good.
but the one thing I wanted to go with that is so that was the whole, I think your whole mind, or not, I don't know about your mindset, but the whole reason for Doge is just to be a positive, fun, and happy experience for everybody and just do all this great things. And there actually has been a lot of good things. I mean, the Jamaican bobsled team got sponsored by Doge. You guys have a NASCAR sponsorship. You bought water wells in Africa, and you even set up some service dogs for children and kids who are in need of them. What are some of your favorite, community-driven projects that have actually done good every day? Like, what are your favorite positive impacts that Doge has had?
Those things are what makes me really proud of the Doge community. Any not just like the charity events, but basically any organizing to do something really cool. Like there is like a Dogecoin in Vancouver. There's like this Doge Palooza thing happening, and like there's like a bunch of stuff that's like neat to see that people are like really engaged in doing things. So I think my personal favorite was one of the first things that happened that let me understand that this community was different than most cryptocurrency communities was when there was like an online wallet that was like this shady online wallet that was hacked back in it was like December 25th, 2013. So it was like on Christmas. And like a lot of people lost a lot of Dogecoin, and everyone was really upset, of course, because as much as you warn people about scams, people still get scammed because this is the nature of the game when you don't have as many protections as you might like. So from that, most of the time, like when bad things happen in crypto, people are just like, oh, SYFL, which is sorry for your loss, is kind of like a cheeky like, oh well, that happens.
Whoops.
But yeah, whoopsie. But like the Dogecoin community actually rallied, and a number of people put together a team that were actually going to try to refund people that had lost their money in the hack. And it was called like Save Dogemas, the event. And they didn't raise like all of it. It was like 30 million Doge that was lost, and they raised like 17 million or something like that. But still it's like a ton of like people donated just to help out other people and make them feel better about losing their money to some generic crypto scam. And like that was when I was like, this community is different. This is not like standard like sorry for your loss, sorry or good luck being poor, or like lame community. This is like a real community of people being real and kind to each other. And from that jumping point, I think is where the bobsled team and like all the tipping culture and all that stuff, I think that's where all that started to emerge in the beginning. And so yeah, those times were really cool when the community was getting together to do really big silly things or really kind things, and I really appreciated that.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned Doge Palooza earlier, and all right, drum roll, please. Here is the breaking news. We have Doge Palooza here backstage to come on and officially announce the event. So welcome, Doge Palooza, Sadie, Coco, and Nomad. How are you all doing today?
Hey
Great.
guys, what's going on?
Great. How are you? I decided to bring a special guest along with me. I hope you don't mind. It's Damon Elliott, aka DJ Nomad, and he is the son of the legendary icon Dionne Warwick, who is also performing at Doge Palooza as well.
That's awesome.
So I hope you don't mind me bringing a friend or two along.
Hi
Thanks for joining,
guys.
Damien.
Absolutely.
Damon,
And Coco,
thanks for
welcome
joining,
back,
Damon.
and it's awesome to have you guys.
I have a quick question for Billy. Billy, are you ready to take a kitty? I want to know, are you ready to take a kitty? I still have Billy ready for you.
Not yet ready to take a cat, but I would love to have a cat again.
Maybe next time, Coco.
Yeah.
Billy, are you going to Doge Palooza?
I don't know. I think like I'm generally. I went to one Dogecoin conference and no one knew that I was going. So if I go, I probably just not tell anybody and just sneak in.
That's the funnest part.
Oh, yeah, we'll make sure that he can sneak in and sneak out with nobody knowing if that's what he wants to do. We got you covered, Billy. We got you protected. We have
I
plenty of
had this great
security.
idea that he could just be the mascot and nobody would
Yeah.
know. We could just have him
Yeah.
be the mascot walking around and nobody would even know it was Billy.
Yeah, Doge costume.
Yeah.
The most ironic outcome is the most likely, right? Okay, so the Dogepalooza team reached out to the Moon, our bus team, and said, hey, we want to make an official announcement live on Moon, our Bust after the Billy interview. So I'm going to turn it over to you. You guys, the floor is yours. Hey, you guys there to make your announcement?
Yeah, Greg, you there?
We
Nope,
lost.
he might have fell off. Hey,
Oh no.
Say, do you want to make the announcement?
Absolutely. So the big announcement for Dogepalooza today, we are announcing the location and the date. The official date is October 9th, which is a Saturday. And the location is in Sugar Land, Texas. It's going to be held at Constellation Field in Sugar Land, Texas. So it's going to be super exciting. After this call, we are going to put the website live. And just so you know, the tickets will not be available as of right now. Oh, Greg, are you back?
Yes. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry,
We
I got
got you.
cut out.
That's
So,
okay.
yeah,
Go ahead.
Like Sadie said, I don't know what else she said, but we are definitely, it's going to be October 9th in Sugar Land, Texas at Constellation Field, which is actually the minor league baseball field for the Sugar Land Skeeters, and it's owned by the Houston Astros. And Sugar Land's an amazing community. It also has right across from the field a private airport. So if, Elon Musk or Mark Cuban want to fly their jet right in, go straight to the venue, they will be able to do that. So we put a lot of thought into the venue. It's kid and family friendly. It has activities like a playground area for the children. It also has a basketball court, a splash pad, other activities for families and kids. So the first half, we're going to have family and children friendly for the first 5 hours. And the second 5 hours, we're going to have the more adult oriented music and entertainment. So that's going to be a fun time for everybody. So whether you have kids or no kids, there's something for you at Dogepalooza. We're all inclusive. We're there to spread fun, happiness. We're going to have some cool things with memes going on there. We're also going to have a lot of interactive events and fun activities for everybody to do, and a lot of great entertainment. We've got legendary icon Dionne Warwick performing her song "That's What Friends Are For," and she has a Grammy Award-winning artist for that song. We also have Damon Elliott, DJ Nomad. Hey, Damon, you want to say what you're going to do at the event?
Yeah, I intend to come and have a really good time and play some fun music and try to stay cool. I heard it's really hot down there.
Yeah, you want to tell them, I'll let you do this. You want to tell them the other artists that we have not announced yet that you and your mom were very, very helpful in bringing to us, and all about her?
Yeah, so a good friend of mine who I've had the opportunity to work with now for a little bit, and I produced a song with my mom and her. She's an amazing, God, how do I describe? She's just like the most amazing, person, and she's an amazing pianist, and she plays classical music over over a combination of like pop music. And her name is Chloe Flower, and she's really known. If you guys want to look her up, you can go to the Grammy performance that she did with Cardi B, where she brought the house down, and that's kind of what catapulted her, if you will. Babyface is her executive producer on her album, which just came out a few days ago and is already #1 on the charts. So I don't know if you know that, Greg. She's the #1 artist right now.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
that's so amazing.
And so she's gonna come rock with us, and then we got a few other surprises. There's I'll leave them as surprises.
Yeah, let's do that, Damon.
Yeah,
let's leave them as surprises. We got a lot of other great artists and Grammy Award winners up our sleeves that we're bringing to. We are packing this thing with the most amazing talent, and we just couldn't be happier that Dion and Damon and Chloe have agreed to come and perform. And they're supporting a great cause because we are giving back all the money for the event that we make on the ticket sales and stuff to charities. And we on our new website that'll be launched after this call, as soon as we can get it up. We got to redirect the URL going to the new site. As soon as that's up and live, you'll see some of our the charities we're supporting, which includes the American Cancer Society, also the Disabled American Veterans. We have the Oldham County Humane Society that helps. It's a no-kill animal shelter. We also are going to be supporting Lupus Foundation. And Sadie, you want to talk to the one that's dear to your heart too?
Yeah, absolutely. The charity that I have chosen is Multiple Myeloma Foundation. My father has multiple myeloma. He is a veteran of the military, and he got it, from Vietnam. So that's close to my heart in that we're so excited about this. This is going to be so much fun, and we're giving back to the community. I do want to mention a few of our sponsors as well, because they're very important to us. We want to thank all of our sponsors and strategic partners, but just to highlight a few, we have Slum Doge Billionaires NFTs. They're our very first sponsor that helped us with securing Dion Perform. That's what friends are for. They can be found at slumdoges.com. We have Gods and Legends NFTs. They are an awesome 3D card game. They're going to be creating a card game with their NFTs. You can find them at godsandlegends.com. Then we also have our newest sponsor, which is Block Ape Scissors. And a special thank you to them, because thanks to them, nobody is going to have to pay for parking at Dogepalooza. They have covered all the parking fees.
Awesome. So I know the website isn't up yet, and the tickets aren't for sale yet. Could you tell us maybe where we could go in the meantime to find information, and when you're expecting the tickets to be on sale?
Well, the website's up, but it's the old one that we just was a quick one we did like weeks, 2 months ago when all this first happened, and when Benzinga was so nice to put the article out about the Elon tweet. We had to get something up very quickly, so we got that done. But then we've been working on this amazing website, which will be going up very shortly. But there is a site up right now, and if you go there and you just see this icon with the word Doge Blues on it, that is the old site. When you see the new site, it has the new logo. It's got fireworks on it. It is amazing. You guys are going to love what you see on the new site. It's truly amazing. We're very proud of it. We can't wait to see the response from everybody. So they can go to dogepalooza.com and check out our site.
And when will tickets be available?
We're working on that because we just got the date signed yesterday. It takes about a week or week and a half, maybe two at the most, to get it up on tickets.com, which is the preferred vendor for the stadium, for the venue. They work with tickets.com. So what we're going to do is we will have a link on our website where you go buy tickets, and then we'll have a link there to go buy the tickets through tickets.com. They can go there and purchase them. They can also go to the venue itself and purchase at the box office. And we worked out a deal which has never been done before, and it took me 3 days to make this happen, but they are going to allow us to sell tickets on our site for Dogecoin. And not only
Very
that,
cool.
Now there's a little caveat. We will take in the money for the Dogecoin, but then we have to actually the person will have to also set up a tickets.com account, because we then have to pay the venue or pay tickets.com for each one of those tickets. And then we have to send the ticket that comes to us to their email, so they have the ticket that they actually
I'm sure that was very difficult to set up. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but we are totally out of time. We've actually already gone over. So make sure you guys, everyone out there, go look up Dogepalooza, check out the website, and follow them on Twitter to stay up to date for the new site and when the tickets drop. And you can get that with your Dogecoin. That is super awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming on to make your announcement today.
Thank you,
we're looking
guys.
forward to
Thank
seeing
you so
in
much.
Sugarland.
We'll have you guys back on.
Cool. Thanks.
Billy, thank you so much for your time today. We have your Twitter linked in the description. But if there's anything else you want to talk about or shout out, I just want to give you the opportunity now to do that.
Yeah, there's probably not anything like specific I'd want to talk about, but yeah, if you want to see me make memes and say silly stuff, follow me on Twitter at BillyM2K. Yeah, and hopefully this was the event for Dogepalooza is going to be really, really cool, and I'm excited about seeing what happens with that. And thanks for having me on. This was really fun.
Awesome, man. It was our pleasure.
One of my favorite ones, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone out there from the Doge Army, make sure you stay tuned, stick around. We have Doge-themed Zinger trivia coming up next with some of your favorite Doge influencers, and we'll be giving away Doge hats to the winner, so you don't want to miss it. Stay tuned. It will redirect you automatically. Don't go anywhere. But this has been Moon or Bust, your home for all things altcoins and DeFi. We hope you have a good day. See ya.